Women flock to dating apps for attention, validation, and the chance to capture envy-inducing moments for their social media feeds. Some even resort to scamming men out of their hard-earned cash. It's not entirely their fault. Many women lack self-confidence and feel the need to seek constant validation. Their fragile egos crave attention. If they want attention, all they need to do is show some skin. It doesn't even matter if they've got the goods or not. Guys will say anything to get in their pants. Perhaps they don't realize how easily men can be manipulated with a little flattery.
So, the recent survey, Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, they talked about 80% of men deemed unattractive on dating apps. The top 10% of men on a dating app, so if you stratify by right swipes, they get 63% of the right swipes. I mean, if you guys know anything about stats, that's ridiculous. Like that's
ridiculous.
That's an absurdly high number. Yeah. The top 20% get 83%. So that's 1.5 standard deviations that go to 20% of men.
Right.
But when you compare it to women, or when you compare it to men, the top 63% of right swipes for men go to 43% of women. So men do still have a little bit of inflation. So like if you live in San Diego or Los Angeles, a girl who might be an 8 in Waco, Texas is like a 6 in Las Vegas. For sure, you're going to have a little bit of that. But for the most part, men find 5s to be 5s, 6 to be 6s, 7s to be 7s, whereas women finds 8s to be 5s, 7s, 9s to be 7s, and there's only one 10. It's Drake and like Chris Hemsworth. Those are the only 10s that exist, right?
Women have it made on dating apps, where they can swipe left and right as if they're picking out designer shoes. There's a surplus of men, so even the most mediocre woman gets a flood of matches daily. According to Tinder stats, women find 80% of guys to be below average and only swipe right 10% of the time. They're holding out for the cream of the crop and won't settle for anything less, feeding their own egos in the process. Then there's the elite 10–20% of men who get all the right swipes based solely on their profile pics. These are the lucky few getting all the action while the rest are left in the dust. Meanwhile, men are pretty much ready to jump into bed with anyone, regardless of their league. So, while an attractive guy might sleep with a less attractive woman, he's not likely to date her. But here's where it gets funny. That 5'10" woman who managed to hook up with an 8'10" guy? She now thinks she's too good for average guys. It's like one good night makes her forget she's not exactly supermodel material. This whole dynamic has women overestimating their worth, making the dating game even more of a circus than it already is.
Yeah. But I want to say online dating probably changed, online dating as in like hookup apps, probably changed the dating dynamics for the worse. I can tell you that. So I think we as humans were not designed to have access to so many other potential mates so quickly and easily. It's not our DNA or is not designed to handle it. So I think that is creating an issue because you can always have a date whenever you want on your phone. And you can now pay to boost your profile.
Isn't that crazy?
On these apps.
The boost the profile. It's like the super hot girls don't have to pay. They don't have to pay to boost their profile.
So I was the first person to actually bring virtual currency to online dating apps. I mean, and I've never, the concept didn't exist. And we did the boost and I kind of regret having added that feature. But a lot of people have, a lot of apps have it and it's essentially pay to play.
Back in the day, dating was a brave man's game. He'd approach a woman, charm her, meet her folks, and boom, they'd be hitched. But now, men are too scared of being accused of harassment, and apparently women just can't stand them. So they resort to online dating, where they're more likely to get scammed by apps promising boosts than to actually find a real connection. Who knew finding love could be so complicated? The reluctance of men to approach women in person due to fears of false accusations and perceived hostility reflects a sad state of affairs in modern society. It's a commentary on the erosion of trust between genders, leaving men feeling wary and women feeling unheard. The rise of online dating, often fraught with its own challenges like scams and bots, underscores the struggle for genuine connection in an environment clouded by suspicion and fear.
Is that they're confused or bewildered by choice that they think they have, but they don't actually have. Meaning men liking photos of women who would never piss on them if they were on fire. and then comparing their current mate to that person. David Buss talks about this in The Evolution of Desire. If you show men pictures of really attractive women and then ask them about their spouse, they have more negative things to say about their spouse. It's like crazy stuff like that. The delinquent or the dilemma of choice, it just makes it much more difficult in all aspects. And it's not just that you can swipe and have a date. Even if you can't, you see these women who like morbidly obese saying, I need a man who's 6 feet tall, makes 6 figures a year. You understand what I'm saying? Like they're doing that kind of stuff. And then men sitting there complaining about women, and these men haven't had sex in like 4 or 5 years. That's also what's happening. And I think the online dating has made that a problem as well.
It is a huge problem. So if you think
Online dating for women is like having an endless apple tree. Men are constantly at their fingertips, eager for attention. These women know they're in demand, and they're not afraid to use it to their advantage. But now, they've got these so-called icks, where even the slightest imperfection is a deal breaker. It's like they're picking apples, tossing aside any that aren't perfect, no matter how ridiculous it seems. We've all heard of aiming for a high-value man, but do these women match up? Thanks to dating apps, even women who wouldn't normally be considered high value think they have a shot because of the sheer number of options. It's no wonder that 80% of men in the lower ranks struggle to get any attention. These apps are breeding grounds for delusions of grandeur. Dating apps have fundamentally altered the landscape of modern relationships, and not necessarily for the better. Women, in particular, have been accused of using these platforms for attention, validation, and sometimes even financial gain, at the expense of genuine connection. The ease of access to potential partners has led to a culture where the pursuit of short-term gratification often takes precedence over building meaningful, long-lasting relationships. These apps have created a sense of abundance for women, where they feel they can easily replace one partner with another at the swipe of a finger. This perceived abundance can lead to unrealistic expectations and a lack of commitment, as women may believe they can always find someone better. Moreover, the validation-seeking behavior often observed on dating apps can be detrimental to self-esteem and mental well-being. Women may feel the need for constant external affirmation, leading to a cycle of seeking validation through superficial means. Overall, dating apps have contributed to a disposable dating culture, where people are treated as commodities to be traded, rather than individuals deserving of respect and genuine connection. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.